Well, Kemi Adetiba visuals. We just began. Are you ready? We are ready. Hey fam, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your baby girl AE. So today I am going to be reviewing the series To Kill a Monkey, and I hope I am not super late because it's almost a month since the series came out on Netflix. But then again, it's never too late. I mean, I just saw it and I had to close my ears from every spoiler and every review I was saying. But after seeing it carefully and weighing on the both sides, from Obose's side and from Ife's side, I am here to tell you what I actually think. But shout out to the cast and crew and the director and the owner of the film, um, Kemi Adetiba. I mean, she's known to do very wonderful movies. I mean, after I saw King of Boys, I knew that everything that comes from her is going to be exceptional, and with no doubt. I mean, I'm still waiting for how the ending, or rather after the dispensation of the new King of Boys. But I mean, we're still going to wait. But I'm super grateful to her for bringing To Kill a Monkey to Netflix and for us to see what she's been onto. So shout out to the cast of To Kill a Monkey, Butchie Franklin, William Benson, Lily Afebe, Constance Owoyobi, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Daniel F. Young, Bimbo Akintola, um, Roseman Sunshine, and the host of others that brought really, and Michael Ejo, and the host of others who brought lights to the cast. I mean, they did exceptionally well. So, um, not forgetting Tenny as well. Okay, so I'm just going to go right into say what I actually feel. Okay, so firstly, Ife saw hell. I know most people might have seen it, so there's going to be like a little spoiler here and there, but then again, if he really saw hell, I mean, from the very beginning of how he was hustling, honestly, I was surprised that he was married. Because, I mean, for you to be struggling to do this and that, and then it's just a lot of things on his plate. And this is literally the life of most men in the world, like the struggling, everything on their head, do this, do that, and the reminder, the constant insult from the mother-in-law just feels like his entire life or his entire existence is failure. Nobody likes to go through that. I mean, that's even why most men are depressed and they can't say anything, because it's like for every time you say something, there's always someone saying, "Oh, you're a man, chin up, you're a man, you can brace up." It was crazy. So looking at that, I just feel like if he had gone through a lot and then taken advantage of several times from his boss, oh, that wasn't a good thing at all. But I mean, fate usually has a way of coming back, and thank God for him that he was able to get help, and at the same time getting the help and didn't forget who helped him when he needed it. That was actually perfect on his side. But moving on, from how he met Obose and how he saved Obose's life then in school, it was great. And I mean, their partnership, I think when I was seeing it with my brother, I was first saying, why did he have to negotiate for someone that is begging? And later on, I understood that it was better he negotiated, since he was bringing the idea, than being part of his boys who keep following him up and down. That was brilliant on his end. But I just also would say that the gaslighting on Efe was too much from the beginning to the very end. First of all, he wanted to do legit. I mean, he had the idea, he knew what he wanted. It's just that there were no funds, and him saying no. So a business suggestion or a business partnership or whatever business, you should sit your husband down and be like, he's obviously tired of poverty, honestly. I mean, from him not able to give his mother a befitting burial to him not being able to get the money for the wife's CS payment that even made him lose a child. You think it was okay for him not able to stand up to his uncle who was trying to molest his daughter? You think it was okay for him that he saw a business deal and he didn't want to take it? She should have just sat him down and asked why. You gaslighted him into taking the job even when he didn't want to. I mean, I felt like the entire world was against him at that particular time, and he did. You gaslighted him into doing it. He did. And years later, you're telling him that you preferred him when he was poor, when you kept on reminding him directly and indirectly that you do the job of a man in the house. To a man, there's nothing that bruises a man's ego than doing that. That was by far like the worst thing. And you she's always making it seem like, oh, I'm okay the way we are, it's fine. And then you go on to tell him that just for something small that he told you. I just felt like she was harboring it the entire time. And also, I would just like to go right on up to when I was saying it, I saw the difference between Obos's wife, right? Ida, the way she treated him, even though she knew her man was cheating, which nobody likes to be in that position, but she knew what she signed for when she married him. She knew the lifestyle. She knew what it entails for that kind of business, for that kind of job and everything. So she was always supporting him, even though she knew he was going around town sleeping with girls. But I felt like there was no trust at all, because I kept telling myself or wondering, how did they come from having money? Because obviously the money was supposed to make them happier, but then it turned into something else. You never gave your husband the benefit of the doubt for anything. You just came home and the next thing you're accusing him of cheating. Meanwhile, excuse me, she pushed him out. He kept on begging, what can I do to fix this? You never wanted that. You were always drunk and all that. It wasn't his fault. You wanted the life. He tried to give you the life. He literally sold his soul. And then you turn and accuse him of doing everything that he's the reason why. Let's not even put the wife as the villain here. Ivy, I kept on wondering from the beginning what that man, what Efe did to her to warrant such hatred. It's not like he beats the wife that she has seen. He tried to provide, even when he didn't. He tried. And then when he finally had, he made sure you had the life. But being an ungrateful child and detesting your father like that, I don't know where her built-up hatred came from. But if I'm being honest, I like how Kemi Adetiba put in all the like everything was connecting. Let's take it back. How I first knew that something was obviously going on between she and Ivy and Obos. I'm sorry I'm jumping, but like as I'm talking, I'm just remembering the clips one by one. First of all, during the party of the twins, right? When she greeted Obos, when Obos was with Efe, when she passed, he tapped her ass, and then I paused it. And then I took it back. I'm like, sorry, is that not Evie that just bent? I'm like, what is the correlation of tapping your friend's daughter's ass? So when I found out that they were having something, I wasn't even surprised, because I know that he would do that. Like, he has done that at the restaurant before. But then I just felt like he would have a little respect. So if most people are blaming Efe for everything that happened, yeah, Efe had his own faults, right? Well, I felt like Obos he 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 did a lot of things that I wasn't particularly happy with. For you to constantly remind a man, I picked you from like, see what he did to Ozzy Boy. I know that most times when he's drunk and all that, he's always pissed. But guy, there's a limit to all these things. For every time you people have an argument, and you call him brotherly, for every time you have an argument, you always remind him that he's a poor man. I picked you up from the gutters. I did this, I did that. Nobody wants to ever hear that. If I'm showing you gratitude, I'm showing you gratitude because I remember how you helped me. The constant reminder was just bullshit. I mean, he can't go home and hear that from the wife and then come out to his own brotherly, his own friend, to keep telling him that. And then he broke the camel's back by sleeping with the daughter. I don't think any man would take that. It's different if it was his son that was sleeping with the daughter. Maybe they were the same age. But you, my friend, do that. That was just it. But then again, that didn't give him the justification of what he did. Also, another line where I knew that something wasn't just right was the inspector that was working with Mo. It just always seemed swift. I think everybody knew, or from the onset, no, not everybody knew. I think that people didn't really know that he was a bad guy. But I think as we were watching it, my brother kept saying, yeah, inspector's handwork. And I'm like, that's true, because I don't think there was any other person that they were showing that kept doing it. So I liked how she kept that part till the end for us to see that he was the mole in the company. Thirdly, if his mistress Sparkle, just the persuasion was just really suspicious, because aside the fact that she didn't like Obos because of how loudmouthed and lousy he was, I just knew that something wasn't just right. The persuasion was too much. So it wasn't even a surprise when it turned out that she was working with or for a teacher. It was so obvious. And then brings me to the part where wasn't the word where Mo, right? Inspector Mo pissed me the hell off, because firstly, you were not attacking Ife because you didn't know he was working with the monkeys. You just really wanted to, like, you were so sure that he was into a shady business because 3 years ago or 4 years ago he was poor. So, like what the MD of the hospital said, so a man is supposed to remain down forever. He's not supposed to grow. He's not supposed to get anywhere. What if he made, like, okay, let's just assume he wasn't working with Obos, and one of the interviews he went for, something came out, he got the money, tried to start up his own company, and he went boom. But for you to constantly try to bring him down, like, oh, he wasn't ever supposed to rise from that position, it was crazy. I mean, I know that she was dealing with a lot of things at the time, but keep your suspicions. Investigate the other person. Not you trying to say, oh, he's a tech guy, how did he make it? He was supposed to be broke for the entire time you knew him. So moving on. I think the reason why I really wanted to watch this To Kill a Monkey was because of Richie Franklin, and aside William Benson. I mean, Richie Franklin has always been there from like Rattlesnake and Far From Home. So I've seen how a killer of an actor he is. So I just knew that this role was just going to be like Bint. And I think I'm also proud of Lily because that's her series on YouTube, Akanchawa Body, kind of brought out that, you know, that Benin accent and all that. This role was divine for her. Then Tenny has always been amazing. Seen a lot of her movies, so I know that, okay, she's brilliant. So I mean, even Constance, this is not like her role that she usually does, right? So it was so great to see her in this. And then the manager has always been like a comedian kind of, so even when his roles came in one by one, it was great. Stella Damasus is
has always been like an OG in the industry. So there's really nothing short of, we knew that she was going to bring the role like back to back. Chidi Makeme is also like an ancestor in Nollywood. So like we knew, right? So everybody brought their killer game, which I really loved that about everything as well.
In as much as I didn't like what teacher did in the first place, and him trying to what he did to Ife's child. And if I'm being honest, when he told Ife that if he wanted the child dead, the child would have been dead. But again, again, you are saying that you didn't plan to kill the child. But if Obos had not jumped out of the car, you would have ended Obos's life that time. So you know how they say greed always leads someone to death, right? Teacher caused his grandchildren's death by himself, and honestly, I was in a lot of pain in that scene, because poor children, poor the other children that were with his grandchildren, they just took something that wasn't meant for them. Because if it wasn't greed, you want a percentage from. What has the older times and the new time got to do with anything? If it wasn't greed. So in that case, I just knew that they went too far. But I don't even think the plan was to hurt the children. They obviously felt like, oh yeah, and the poor driver as well. Obviously felt like teacher was going to be the vehicle. But that scene was somehow a bit, because it was so obvious that he was trying to dodge something. I don't know. But honestly, it was expected that something was going to go wrong on that scene, or rather in that scene. So I knew, with the way he kept saying, oh, I want to, I think there was something about that scene that just felt really suspicious, right? So we knew that there was going to be an impending danger there. So moving on, I always felt like if his wife had his back, many things that went wrong for Ife wouldn't have gone wrong. So I think that if, because this movie obviously was portraying that crime doesn't pay, crime is not good. I mean, they always say that there is no honor among thieves, right? If they weren't trying to portray that crime wasn't, I felt like if it would have survived it, if it would have run from it. But I'm happy the way if it ended. You know why? Because I felt like when he didn't have money till when he had the money, till the very time that he was arrested, if he didn't have any single piece, he didn't have one happiness. My brother kept saying that the worst thing he made, or rather the worst, that what killed him finally, was him being with Sparkle. Introduced him to drugs, kept persuading him. That was what ended him entirely. I don't think if he deserved half of everything he did, because it felt like there was no love for him anyway, even with his own family that he thought they would have his back. So him paying for what he did to Obos, that was alright, but Obos still fucked up from what I said earlier. But then again, he really needed to rest, because even with the money he had no peace. There was really no genuine love for him. And that was so devastating to watch, because the man told from when he was a child till he grew up, got married, had a family, he still didn't have any peace. So yeah, it was okay for him to actually rest. But I would say that what I loved about the movie, the soundtracks. Oh my god, the soundtracks. Oh my god. That was amazing. Like, it was well thought of. From the Save Me to the I'm sorry, I don't think I'm getting the tune well, but like the soundtrack was on point. The directing, some parts top notch. The camera quality, the cinematographer, the courts, the scenes, the cars, the houses, everything on point, right? And I mean, everything was just giving vibe. I think there was a part where I was like, I meant it. They talked about that much later, but when the danger started coming, I felt like the first thing if he should have thought of was taking the entire family out of the country. Not much later, when things had already gone sour, taking them out of the country would have been better. I mean, I just thought about it like, okay, if teacher had his boys in the present country and he took his family abroad, except he was going to um kill them on the way to the airport. But if they were abroad, how would you send your boys to go abroad to kill them? That kind of thing. That's what I thought about. Like, you had the money, you could have gotten everything done, not at a later point, right? But the part that stabbed me through and through was, I preferred you. I loved you more when you had no money. I was like, Uchonu there. You loved him more when you didn't have money. But you kept on reminding him that you were tired of the suffering. You were tired of always being the one to assist him as the other man in the family. Would you shut up? The gaslighting was too much. I didn't like it. Well, yeah, and then I think at the end, people will always say that, or rather, I also said that it wasn't even, I don't think it was bullets that ended Obos. It was the betrayal. Because I mean, he didn't expect that from someone he called brotherly. But I think if he was pained as well, because it felt like after everything had happened and he had apologized, but the deed had already been done. But if he had finished apologizing, probably what he should have done next was probably just told him they should exit. I mean, you worked there before, you should know the nooks and crannies of the place. He should have just left. But I mean, he wanted to protect his own family, which in turn the family was trying to protect. Didn't give two shits about him. That's the irony of life. That's the irony of the average man on earth, in the world. Nobody sees the hustle, the things they have to go through. But we keep coming back to backlash to say you didn't do this right, you didn't do that right. So in all, with the acting, the cast, the crew, and everything, I would give this movie 8.5 over 10. Yeah, 8.5 over 10. Everything was on point, in sync. It was great. Efe really saw hell. I won't even lie, he saw hell. He didn't have a moment of peace. Even with his mistress, he still didn't have a moment of peace. But I hope in his next life he picks the right person. I don't know, but for somehow it wasn't really fair that I had to go through all that with no single support. Oh well, thank you for listening. And like I always say, Obos and Efe, they both had their own faults. None of them were innocent of whatever happened to them. So let's not take one person's side and forget about the other person. They both fucked up in their own way. But keep streaming To Kill a Monkey on Netflix. 8 episodes. 8 episodes, right? Yeah, do not forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share as always. Thank you so much. Love you all.